Okay, we'll go ahead and call to order the Tuesday, June 24th meeting of the St. Bernard Community Improvement Corporation to order. And we'll have a roll call by the president. So President Stuchel here, Vice President Tom Lawson, Treasurer Bob Culverson, Secretary Chris Schildmeyer, Joe Brickler, here. Peggy Brickweg, here. Ray Culverson, Jeff Edwards, here. Allie Palmer, here. Chris Sauer, here. Amy O'Smalley. You all have been presented with a copy of the minutes. At this point, if you've had a chance to run through them, next time I promise I will make sure they get emailed out to you. If there are any corrections at this point,
yes.
Or is there yes, there's a correction?
Yeah, my name's spelled wrong again. It's S-E-N, not S-O-N on the front page.
So just so you know, this is a transcriber, so
I know he told me about that.
Okay, so we can go back and make that correction, but anyhow. And then also just to note, Amy O'Smalley's here now. But I will make sure that Chris knows that some way, somehow this is misspelling your name. While I'm on it, just to make sure, other than the members that are outside of council or city hall, I just need to make sure that I get an updated email. So, Tom, is yours still Bonus?
Bonus, B-O-N-N-E-S.
B-O, sorry.
At AOL.com.
All right.
I get your messages.
I'm talking about the email. All right, got it. And Allie, what is your updated?
It's each.
Each?
H.
Oh, H, sorry.
It's, yeah, H-E-B as in boy, E-R-T-A-G 2014 at Gmail.
2014?
Yeah, at Gmail.
All right. All right, and I found I've got Amy, so we're good. And then, oh, Joe, what is your still that OR? But you had two of them, and it's at, is it AOL or or is it? Oh, .net. Got it. Okay, good, go. I guess nobody has a treasurer's report, so we'll forego that till next time. As far as action items, just to give everybody an update on the demolition of the shopping center. So obviously the bank building is down. There are going to be some potential cost overruns. I don't have them exactly as of yet for the bank building. I don't know if anyone was aware of this, but apparently when you were facing the entrance to where Skyline was and you had the step up going in, directly below that in the dining room was actually, there was an old structure. So apparently that whole building was built on piers. So they called, I thought that what they were, when they said that they ran into this, maze of whatever, I actually thought that they were speaking of the area that was directly behind the dining area in the kitchen, that you had layers of ramps like concrete running down and then going down into the lower level of Crosley's. I thought that's what they were talking about. Nope, I actually went and looked. There was actually an old structure down below that they covered up. So rather than just doing the easy thing, talked to Chris Schildmeyer about this, had them remove it. So we don't know exactly how much additional debris had to be removed, but there's going to be some additional cost. Some of that could be offset potentially in the next step with the strip mall portion, whether or not they have to shore up that wall. As of right now, they've not done anything to modify that wall. So we'll have to see, but there may be something to offset that additional cost. Also, when they got into the strip mall portion, and as they started disassembling the overhang walk area, it was discovered that there was asbestos material in there that was not discovered during our actual inspection. Either way, we would have had to pay for the removal, so there's $6,800 in that came about. So they keep stumbling. I actually think we're probably far enough along now that I don't know that there's much more really to find now that the building's just down to just a very small portion. So they're making great progress. So I mean, just wanted you to be aware that there were a couple of hurdles that they ran through, but anyhow, we'll
We
get
have
to it.
still the transformer there, right? That's a problem.
So that problem is left up to Duke. They intentionally left the one corner of the basement to prevent the transformer from falling in the hole. So that little bit could be dealt with, but that's gonna be on Duke. So they'll have to figure out that, but it is still active and live because it does power, it does deal exclusively with, the professional building and I believe Skyline and Bigby. So Duke has been working on a plan, and I don't know where it's gonna get relocated to, but it's still stable, it's leaning just a hair, but it's not in the hole yet, so we're fine. Status on the PSA with the developer, still continuing to shore up the remaining financing, and Darren's working through his remaining due diligence. We have our scheduled call with him for updates, early next month, so, I mean, there's still progress. And again, he has 6 months, during his cure period here, so, again, he's working through that. So we'll be able to give everyone, hopefully, another update for next month. We also, legal counsel for the shopping center, as you're aware, we retained Steve Gooden from Porter and Wright to represent us as we transitioned Kathleen from Urban Fast Forward. So we're no longer focusing on the relocation. So as of right now, they're working with ACE, and believe it or not, ACE has another new person from Cushman Wakefield, so they've reached out. Doesn't mean anything, but, doesn't mean that we're exploring any options, and as far as, I'm concerned, they're welcome to serve out the remaining portion of their lease. So, we're just gonna roll with that until something else comes up. I did bring to your attention, you'll see some information from the Hamilton County Auditor that I brought up. You're gonna see information that, there for 306 Bank, and then on the last page, I brought up a comp of 56 Orchard. So what is happening, I have spoken with a new property owner at the end of Bank that moved in next door to 306. So 306 is non-buildable property. If you're familiar with where that is, it sits up on the hill. It's only a 40-foot wide property. It also has a cistern right at the top of the hill in the front. It is not buildable. It's a property that the CIC inherited. It has no benefit to it, other than the fact that we still pay taxes on it and still have to maintain it. So several years back, when we did a push when we identified non-usable properties that the CIC had that didn't fall into any kind of development plan, we defined a couple of spots that would give consideration to what's referred to as a side lot purchase. And the Orchard property was one, and this was the other. We didn't get any response from the adjoining property owners when it previously did this, but there is a current interested individual that moved next door. So what I would like to do would be to send out notice to the individual from the two-family to the right, which is an LLC, and also to the new property owner, asking of, their interest to potentially enter into negotiations with the CIC for the purchase of that property. I don't know that we have to necessarily come up with an exact, sale price this evening. I would like to just get permission to enter into, discussion, but the property value right now, again, market value, it has no improvements because there's no structure, but of $13,920. The property that we had sold, obviously for, on Orchard, we ended up selling for $3,790. I know that's an odd amount, and I'll get a better explanation from Meredith on that, but I don't see where, we should be trying to recover the exact value from the auditor. I mean, I think that's something that we could give consideration to if we could allow for it to complement an adjoining property owner's, already existing, purchase. So I would just like permission to send out notice asking if their interest, at least do our due diligence before, if we know that we're, looking at negotiating with one person or both. So
That lot also has that big tower in the back too.
That's
Takes up
actually,
part of it.
that's actually the adjoining property owner.
It
It
is?
sits down, I believe, yes. So, maybe I'm wrong, but either way, I know that there's a right-of-way that has to be maintained for servicing of that. So, at this point, I guess all I'm gonna ask, and whether, correct me if I'm wrong, whether or not I need, a motion to allow me to make, contact, or whether you're fine with, me sending a letter out, more or less offering, or trying to verify interest. Does anyone have an opinion on that?
I mean, it's only a continuation like we did with Orchard, okay, so it's nothing new.
So we're not voting on selling anything right now. I'm just gonna send out notice asking their intent.
Yep.
And go from there. So,
That motion if you want to make it official.
sure, let's just make it official then, fine. So is there a motion for me to reach out to the adjoining property owners to verify their interest in the potential purchase of 306 Bank?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Okay? All in favor? We'll just do a voice down vote, just to make sure. Jonathan Stuchel, yes. Tom Rolfson?
Yes.
Bob, we don't have to worry about that, sorry. Joe Brickler?
Yes.
Peggy Brickweg?
Yes.
Jeff Edwards?
Yes.
Ally Palmer?
Yes.
Chris Sauer?
Yes.
Annie Osmalley?
Yes.
All right, all in favor? Perfect, that's great. Property maintenance, we don't really, we're getting rid of the issues that we had to maintain, but just so you're aware, we were able to get the flowers planted at the shopping center for around $750. And then I brought up to you all that 31 Phillips, which was a complete overgrown mess, was having difficulty reaching out and trying to get anyone that could take immediate action to alleviate the problem. So we basically employed the service department. So we were able to get that work done for right around $900, which so really, there was only a very limited portion of that property that was mobile. So at this point, we got a thank you from the adjoining property owner on Baker, who's was the recipient of the majority of our leaves. So anyhow, they were very pleased. As of right now, the only other thing that needs to be done, mulching at the corner of the municipal lot that we have on Vine. That's not gonna be done until, the Vine and Burtis gas line work is done, so there's no need to really do anything else, but really, we should be on the downhill stretch for maintenance for a while. So as far as open discussion, additional agenda items, I personally don't have anything. I'm sure Tom does.
Yeah, I got a question on, how long is that place supposed to have, at least 3 more years or something?
A little more.
Okay, and what are we doing with the other 2 businesses? Maybe we could rent them out?
Okay, so what I would like to do before we get a little too excited about that, I would actually like to sit tight for just a short period of time while we work through the remaining portion of the PSA with our developer during their due diligence period, because it could end up becoming their issue. So to develop, let them make that investment. As of right now, the other 2 units, I would want to get a bid on what it would cost to white box them to make them ready, but I don't think it's going to be inexpensive. I mean, there are sewer issues with the old, Pizza Hut. I mean, it's not going to be inexpensive by any means.
Is the utilities connected to the building that's there now, like, the one we have the lease with? Are they all connected still now?
Yes, so basically, in the demolition process, basically what ended up happening is that they worked through where they were doing the disconnection and capping of the utilities. So, I mean, they're intact, but the units are not in good shape whatsoever. And there always is a remote possibility that if ACE ends up moving out, which they could, then it would make sense to go ahead and knock the rest of the building down. But while we actually have someone retained representing us, working with ACE, and again, we're in the due diligence period with our actual developer, I feel like it makes sense to sit idle for just a little bit and then get a better sense before we go moving forward.
Okay, when did we sign a 6-month thing? Like a month ago?
No, it was a couple months.
So he's got 4 more months then to
I
come up
believe,
with a thing?
I'll get you the exact date. I don't have it right with me. I think you were there. Anything else, Tom? All right, does anyone else on the board have anything under additional agenda items or open discussion? Anyone in the audience have anything? Going once? Okay. At this point, our next meeting will be July 22nd at 6 PM. Unless, there's no reason for us to reschedule unless anyone knows of a large group of us being gone at the same time, but if there, we still can function with a couple, 3 of us gone, so if something happens, let me know. At this point, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
All right, adjourn, thank you.